Uh, Good evening, well, good late afternoon, Jackson family. This is Earl. Some of y'all know me as EJ. I was Calvin's, I was my late stepfather Calvin's stepson. There was an error in the obituary that I want to address that I felt was deliberately put there. And it was brought to my attention by numerous people, especially people on my mother's side. They were quite offended by it. Yanni put in the obituary a major error. Let me go there. Not the military, not the security guard. Okay, here we go. Yanni claims that her and Calvin was married for 43 years. That's an absolute motherfucking stank ass fucking lie. That's total bullshit. I don't even remember. I don't even remember Yanni 43 years ago. My first memory of Yanni was in the early 2000s, and I'm gonna get to that. The first thing I want to say is that Calvin and my mother Nanette got married at a hall that used to be in Emeryville, California. It was near a restaurant we had back then called Doggy Diner that was in California. It was mainly in Northern California. I don't know if it was in Southern California. And I'll never forget, it was a giant dog head mascot-like thing they had, and it rotated. They went out of business when I was either in second or third grade, but the hall that they got married in was near that Doggy Diner, and I remember that as a little kid. That would have been on a Saturday. That was July. It was in the summertime of 1982. My mother wore like a light sky blue dress, and Calvin wore like a light navy blue or midnight blue, like tuxedo, and he had an afro, like a bigger afro than what we normally remember him as having, in, you know, since the 2000s. But anyway. They got married in 1982, and I believe they divorced in 1998, because my mother was talking about a divorce back then. You know, it's no secret that me and my mother did not have the greatest relationship in the world. And Yanni, feel free to try to use that to have me and some of my siblings going at it. It's not going to work. You know, that's a very dirty, sneaky, rat-ass, white supremacist type tactic, and it's not going to work this time. You know, I believe that everybody I believe everybody see you for who you really are, especially with this property lawsuit, this bullshit that you didn't filed. But again, it's none of my business. I just don't think it's right. But I want to point that out. But excuse me. Yeah. So yeah, me and my mother did not have the greatest relationship in the world. You know that. And a lot of people know that. But I'm not gonna let you lie on her. You were not married to Calvin for 43 years. That's an absolute stank ass bullshit fucking lie. You know, and I can't believe you put that in this obituary. That's a total lie. My first memory of Yanni is I met Yanni either at the Powell Street Civic Center or the Balboa Park BART station in San Francisco, one of those three. And that year I had met her. She had gave me some Christmas presents, and I gave Calvin some Christmas presents for him, Man, and Kendra. That was my first memory of Yanni. I do not remember Yanni in the 1980s, the 1990s, or prior to 2000. That year had to have been 2001 when I had seen Yanni. So I want to clear that up. You said that you were married to Calvin for 43 years. Something that always kind of bothered me that I found very interesting, Yanni, was the night we went to Scott's Seafood. That was Sunday, December 14th, 2014. That was the day Man had, well, it wasn't the day. It was Man's welcome home party that you threw for him, which I thought was very nice of y'all to do. I'll never forget, a waiter came over and was asking about the order, like whose name is it under. I said, well, that's easy. It's under the Jackson last name. And it turns out it was under your maiden last name. And I went to thinking, I thought her name was Jackson. They got married years and years ago. What the hell, what's that all about? So it turns out you never changed your last name. So technically, were you even married to Calvin? I heard a rumor y'all got married at a courthouse in San Francisco around 2002, but why didn't you change your last name to Jackson if you were married to him, like you say you were? Because I never saw a marriage certificate. So that was kind of weird to me. I don't know what that was about. So you know, it just I'm gonna go along. I'm gonna say is I don't think y'all were married. I think you just told people that because you didn't have the Jackson last name. Because if you did, I mean, if you were married to him, why didn't you change your last name to Jackson? Just out of curiosity. You know, it would have made sense. You know, especially when my mother divorced Calvin back in 1998. Then another story I want to share with everyone, and this was told to me about 20 years ago. I'm not going to give up the person's name who said it, but they told me, and it was a really good friend of Calvin's. He said, "Earl, I am so sorry. It wasn't none of my business. You know, you've always been a good kid." And he's old enough to be my father too, by the way. But this is what he was saying to me. You know, you were always a good kid, and you deserve to know the truth. But when Nene and Calvin were married, he was messing around with her. Yanni was always his side piece. You know, I just didn't know how to tell you that. But I would love to have told you the truth. And this is when Calvin was living and my mother was living. So, Yanni, you were the side piece, and you funded his lifestyle. And just accept it for what it is. You should have put in the obituary, I was his side piece. I don't think you were married at all because you did not have his last name, and there was never no explanation as to why. Most people that get married, maybe it's a white culture thing, I don't know, but in the black culture, you know, the woman takes the man's last name. And you didn't even hyphenate your last name, Majetta Jackson, whatever that is, however you pronounce it. You didn't even do that. So I thought that was just very strange. I don't know if you're telling the truth or not. You lied in this obituary, and chances are you're lying about how you were married to Calvin, because that's some horse shit that you were married to my stepfather for 43 years. Because I don't fucking remember you. In the 80s, 90s, my first memory of you was at that BART station in San Francisco back around 2001. You know, so you can lose me and everybody else with that bullshit. You were not married for 43 years. You were his side piece. I'm just gonna tell it like it is. You can go ahead and cut the video, Mike.
EJ.
Yeah.
Why was she so salty towards your mother?
You know what it is? She's never liked my mother, and my mother they didn't even know each other like that. My mother told me a long time ago they had met. I think it was at some type of either function or a park or somewhere. And my mother had introduced herself to her, and Yanni was just acting like a total bitch with her. And again, like I said, I'm not defending my mother. We didn't have a really great relationship or anything. But the thing was, Yanni didn't have any kids. I heard a rumor a long time ago, and I forgot who it came from. But I know it wasn't from my siblings. But I heard that she couldn't have kids because of some type of medical problem. And she was just flat out jealous that my mother could procreate and she couldn't. You know, that's what it smells like. I mean, and it sounds like. You know, what the fuck is you throwing shade for? You know, that whole this whole obituary saying you were married to Calvin for 43 years is a total fucking lie. The rest of it was cool. The pictures was nice. I would have added certain other pictures into it. You know, like you know, and I'm not trying to critique pictures. These are all nice pictures. It's just that every picture that has him in it should have had either him in it or him and somebody else, because it's his story. You know, it wouldn't have been a picture of. I'm not gonna go there. That's not relevant. But I know how I would have mine set up. But just the whole 43 years really ruffled a lot of feathers, and Yanni didn't have to go there. It's like you threw shade at my dead mother again. You know, my mother died in 2016. She's been dead for what, 8-9 years now? This wasn't necessary. And you know that they were married from 1982 to 1998, and you should have had the decency and the respect to at least respected Bianca, Kendra, and Man and put their mother in here as a side note. And you didn't do that because you hated her, because you had a problem with her, and she never did anything to you. You know, and that was a rat ass bitch move all the way. You were jealous because you couldn't have any kids, and I'm so sorry that you couldn't procreate, and my mother could. But you know what? Get the fuck over it. Go ahead and cut this video, Mike.